I thank the gentleman for yielding. Maybe he has another minute that we could get to if possible, but I want to thank the gentleman from Michigan, but certainly also my friend from Ohio, both of whom have served here for a long period of time and love this institution and know how critical the functions are of the parliamentarian. I want to thank them both. Mr. Dingell has had the privilege of serving alongside all four of the men who have been the modern parliamentarians in this House. I've had the privilege of serving with three of them. When the framers of the Constitution wrote Article 1, Section 5, Clause 2, they probably had little idea of the volume of precedents that would accumulate in the 224 years since the House convened and adopted its first rules. Today, the job of parliamentarian is probably one of the most difficult in Washington. A thorough understanding of the rules and precedents is a prerequisite to be an accomplished parliamentarian. John Sullivan has that. One must also, however, have the respect of every member of this House. John Sullivan has that. That is what John Sullivan achieved over the course of his 17 years in the parliamentarian's office. As our parliamentarian for the last 8 of those years, John has sat beside the Speaker's rostrum through some of the most heated floor debates I've ever seen, indeed perhaps in which I've participated. Throughout, he preserved the impartiality of and the high regard for his office in the eyes of both Democrats and Republicans, when Democrats were in charge and when Republicans were in charge. And he demonstrated his keen and incisive command of precedents, issuing his rulings. In hearing of John's decision to retire, I was among the many members who felt that they were losing a respected colleague and friend. Because after his tenure here, John Sullivan has left his mark on the House no less than any of us who were elected to serve here by our constituents. And he, no less than ourselves, has served the American people well. As we wish him the best in retirement, we also welcome as our new parliamentarian a man who is eminently qualified to succeed him in office. Tom Wickham has been at John's side throughout his tenure in the parliamentarian's office, and I know John is leaving us in very capable hands. Mr. Speaker, I join you and my colleagues with everyone else who has come to the floor this evening in celebrating John's service to this House and to our nation. I wish him well and thank him for all he has done to preserve the order and with it the honor of the People's House. John, you have been a great public servant in the best traditions of that term. You have been someone, as I said earlier, who has been respected by every leader of both parties. An individual who has listened intently, who has judged fairly, and whose judgments have made this House better. So John Sullivan, well done. The House's good and faithful servant. Well done as a friend and colleague and advisor. Many of us are better members of this House because of John's counsel through the years. And this House is certainly a better place for his service. And I congratulate him and wish him Godspeed. And I thank the gentleman from Michigan and the gentleman from Ohio for leading this special order to praise and give testimony to the outstanding service of our friend, John Sullivan.